Hey guys, it's Tuesday. I'm back from Jersey, so I'm making my video. I guess that I'm introducing the topic this week because Sarah didn't get the message about what the topic was about on Sunday. She got on Monday morning, and Darren's internet failed. So I guess that I am introducing the topic this week, which is weird. I've only done that once. So, the topic this week is what's the best thing to do on a first date when people staring isn't an issue? And oddly enough, I've had girlfriends, but I really haven't been on dates. And I don't know if anybody else has experienced this, but in college, it's really rare to go on dates. Because usually I'll meet at like a party or a gathering or through a mutual friend. And it's kind of like it's in high school you have to like, well, meet me here at this time, and then you have to drive there and get some food or whatever. At college, it's just kind of like, yo, I'm hungry. You want to pick something up, or like you want to come to my dorm and hang out and watch a movie or something. Like it's not very structured in college. So this was a new topic for me, I guess. Um, with my current girlfriend, our first date was the day I asked her out, and I mean we had been dating a long time before that. As far as the best thing to do on a first date, um, that if you don't have to worry about people staring, I'd say is just have fun. Like, don't be afraid to mess around with each other. Every single day, I don't know, it's like the start of this tradition. I don't know why. Because I guess because me and Sarah were dating for so long that, like, dating without going on dates, that when we finally went on a date, we were like, well, we already know everything about each other anyway. So we just had fun, and every time we go on a date, we role play like different people. Like we'll always take on a new personality and like talk to each other. Like we went on a date when I was in Jersey, and I was like, so we're talking about all this stuff, and she pretended to be this like hick girl that's like stuck with like 400 different people, and I was like, so are you seeing any other, guys? And she's like, yep, I'm seeing 8 of them and stuff like that. And it was just fun because we were having like fun, and you can do that to like break the ice, just like pretend you're on like some sort of date. Or, I mean, the only thing with that is like if you actually don't know each other, that probably wouldn't be the best idea, but I think it's fun. All right, so the question this week is what's the best date you've ever been on? And as I said before, I haven't really been on dates, um, like a lot of them, but it was a pretty good story the first time that I asked my girlfriend out. So I'm just gonna tell you guys that story. Okay, so here's a story about how I asked her out, which turned into our first date. I've been chasing after this girl for years, and by years I mean months. But it felt like forever, and she just would not give me the time of day. Like she just did not care. But after we started like hooking up, it was apparent that she wanted me to ask her out. Like she was actually interested in dating me, which was a totally new revelation to me. And all of her friends, and we were all taken aback, but I mean, that's how it was. So I was like thinking about ways to ask her out, and I knew that like she would need a grand gesture. She is the kind of girl that would want a grand gesture. So I was thinking about it, and I remember like going in her room, and all of the walls in her room are covered in pictures. There's not like an inch without one. And she has collages, and she talks about how much she loves collages. So I was like, I shall make a collage. And then I was like, oh, well, I'm not artsy at all. I don't even really know what a collage is or what to put in a collage. So I texted her best friend, and I was like, Train, you gotta help me. This is how I want to ask Sarah out, and you gotta help me. And Train's like, oh, of course, of course. So I thought that I was gonna do the collage and ask her out like that weekend. Um, so I would always say things like, "Oh, I'm never gonna ask you out. Like, I can never date you." You know, just messing around with her because that's how I am. Like sometimes she'll tell me she loves me, and I'll be like, "Oh, awk," and it just like I'm totally messing around with her. But anyway, it turned out to be harder than I thought it would be to get Train and I alone without Sarah there. So days turn into weeks, and I still haven't gotten this collage done because every time I try and like hang out with Train or like mysteriously vanish, Sarah's like, "What are you doing? What are you up to? I know that you are being sketch." So finally, I got a day where me and Train got together and made the collage, and and then like even like things down to like going to Walgreens to pick up the pictures because I didn't have a car, and the only person that has a car is Sarah. So I'd have to mysteriously steal her car and go and do things without her noticing. Like it was a hassle. So finally, we got the collage done, and I was like, Train, okay, tell her that you want to have a girls' night with her and her other girlfriends. So get her dressed up to go to Cheesecake Factory. So I go to the mall to pick up a suit and look dapper for our first date because I didn't really have anything that was nice and presentable at school. So I went and picked up a suit and got a rose at the mall, and she was freaking out. She was like, "Where's my card? Why aren't you texting me back? You're lying about where you are. You're being really sketch." And then she's like, Train's texting me, "You better get your butt back here, buddy," because she is freaking out. She's never gonna let you use her car again, like all this stuff. And I'm like, "Oh no." Okay, so I drive back to her, and I'm like waiting outside her dorm, and I call her, and I'm like outside. I was like, "I'm outside," and she's like, "Oh, are you outside?" And so she comes out, and I just see her, and she's like fuming mad. She's so mad that I stole her car for the whole day and that I didn't tell her I was going. She is pissed. So she comes out, and then she sees me, and I'll insert one of the pictures. There's like two pictures, and they're really crappy quality, but I mean, I'll put them in anyway. And I'm in a suit, and I'm holding a rose in one hand, and the other hand I have this collage that says, "Will you be my girlfriend?" And she just stand there, and I just watched her face go from like, and she got like really happy. And then the best quote ever she said was, "Do you want to come to Cheesecake with us?" And I was like, "Sarah, they're not taking you to Cheesecake. I'm taking you to Cheesecake." And she's like, "Aw." So we went to Cheesecake, and that began the epicness that was the day we started dating.